Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's live stream. Hopefully everything's going through nice and clear. My microphone software had to update, so I think it broke a few things, but hopefully I got it all fixed. Yes, we're back. Hello, we're back from GDC. Got back on Sunday, and yeah, it was a really great trip. We got lots of really cool things to do, things to announce coming soon. First thing, which is really exciting, and I couldn't wait to share with you all. Hold on, let me share my screen. You can now wishlist Mimic on the PlayStation Store. So you can, all you have to do is go to PS5 Store, search for Mimic, and you'll find it there, and you can add it to your wish list. So sign in, add it to your wish list for the PS5. It will be coming to Xbox as well. We're just waiting for that to finalize. But yeah, we've got the PS5 dev kit, we've got Xbox dev kit on its way, and progress is about to be made on bringing those things all together. So yes, really cool, exciting times to get that all on there. So please, yeah, do wishlist it on any platform you like now. So we've got Steam, Steam, PS5, Epic Game Store, and soon Xbox. I'll obviously announce when it is done. But yeah, check it out. We're on there, which is really cool, and you got some basic stuff, same stuff that's on the old Steam page. But yeah, search it on your console as well, and yeah, nothing special. But yes, please do wishlist it. Really cool, exciting news. But yeah, GC was good. We got lots of other cool things in the work. So speaking of Mimic, we are going to be starting soon. Probably next week, because this week has been a kind of catch-up week. We'll be doing a weekly playtest of it. So those who have got keys for the Steam keys, you are invited along to this playtest. We'll be making a more official post on the Patreon website. If you want a key and want to be part of the testing phase, basically I've given a key to everyone that's a Platinum Diamond member so far. So we'll expand it out eventually. We'll get there, but yeah. Okay, so what is today? Today is question time. So question time is a live stream I do where I answer your questions about Unreal Engine, game dev, or anything you have at all. This could be about game development, Unreal, GDC, but we just got back from GDC last week. Anything you want. So yeah, really cool things to talk about there. So what we do is pick questions in the chat and try and cover as many questions as I can within the hour that we are live. If I do miss your question, don't fret, just put it back into chat too. I don't know if we mentioned it as well last time. I can't remember when we last live streamed, but we have now got a Spanish speaking channel too. So we're now dubbing the videos into Spanish to basically make it more accessible to everyone. This is something that won't earn any money. It's something that just sits on the side, but it is something I wanted to do for a very long time as a way to sort of basically help. Yeah, because people want non-English based tutorials, and so we're doing what we can. So yeah, and if it does well, then we'll open up to more languages as well in the future. Okay, let me get this. How we get here? Okay, so in Unreal we are. Okay, so how was GDC? GDC was good. Very productive business wise. It was a different vibe from previous years. It felt like everyone, there weren't as many people on the show floor, like booth wise. Last year Epic had a massive booth. This year they had no booth, because they're doing their own thing with Unreal Fest. Yeah, it seems like they're missing part players. I think the cost of GDC has finally crept up to companies, and they're realizing they can't sustain it. But we will see how that evolves. I don't think I'll be back next year, as I pretty much got what I wanted to get out of it this time and last time. So we'll probably tackle other markets in the future. What's a good alternative for Project Acoustics? What is that? Is that like a plugin you've got or something? Hold on, let me have a look. Or are you just talking about acoustics in general? Oh, okay. It's yeah, it is a plugin. Okay, so I've never used it, so I have no idea. Hold on. Perform. Okay. The answer is no. I don't know. I've never used this before, so I can't ascertain. So obstruction is in the engine by default. Portaling, I don't think is in there. Occlusion's in there. Reverberance, I don't know about, and reverberation time, I don't know about. So, yeah, can't unfortunately assist with that. But it's interesting. So, yeah, you can assign different materials to control whether how absorption works with the sound. Okay. Okay. But yeah, no, unfortunately not. I can't help you too much with that one. Benjamin, how long before AI assistance for Unreal Engine? I mean, assistance, yeah, I can see that happening. Straight up replacement, I doubt it. It would be just like another tool that you add to your belt of things to learn. Like I can imagine like the modeling tool having a generative AI model implemented to it, and maybe some basic coding things. But ultimately, you want it not to be closed off, so it can be edited by you inside the engine. I think that's the thing that you're gonna want to make sure is happening. Obviously, AI will get better and better, but we'll see. You have to keep an eye on it. There is obviously not perfect. There's lots of things that are working for it. So I've tried out generative AI for like 3D models. I used a couple of services to try them out, just out of curiosity. And yeah, I mean, it does them, but it's not too optimized, a bit muddy sometimes, and you can't specify I want to separate this and this, I want to make this movable, this not movable. We can't do anything like that. So it's still a long way off, I feel that way. But for purely static creation, yeah, it seems to be fine. I feel like the programming side would be a little bit trickier, as it may be okay with doing one-off things, but it's when you start doing multifaceted classes that will link to other classes and rely on other classes. Because when you're generating AI, you've got to generate some code. Sure, it may work, but now let's say you've got to generate another bit of code for something else that may rely on that first one that may not sync up too well. So there may be some limits here and there where that goes wrong. But in terms of assistance, I think that might be a good way of maybe that might be putting something in the engine like that in the future. I have no idea, I have no insight, but I would imagine that that would be something that all developers of all softwares are working on. We see it in like Word and all that, so I fully expect it to happen at some point. Don't know when though. Do you recommend Godot? I can't say, but I haven't used it much. I think I've turned it on once, and that was it. So, sure, why not? I have no idea. King Gamer, can you make a tutorial on how to make the character hold the flash? I guess you mean flashlight in their hand. I mean, yeah, it's pretty simple. We could do it right now. So let me just bring in a third-person character. Stuff. So obviously you're going to want an animation of them holding their hand out like that, so you can poke it out. I look like Zelensky. Thanks. I'll take that as a compliment. Yeah, so we got the third person. Let's go to the third person map. Okay, so All you have to do is make a socket, and that's going to hold the flashlight on the skeleton. So first thing is first, let's make a little flashlight that we can use. Hold on. I'll tell you what, we're going to modeling tool, just make a quick model of one. We'll take a cylinder. We'll rotate this. I've been using the modeling tool a lot more lately, just like to craft out basic things. It's been pretty useful. Oh yeah, excellent. And we can go in there. We'll just chuck in that. Done. And oh, I want to select the whole loop. Let's turn off faces. Oh, is it not going to do it? Okay, let's do this face in. One flashlight. I know, it's amazing. Obviously, it's very big, but what will you do? So I like to model big and then scale down in Unreal. It just find the controls a little bit easier to do, manage. So you get the right sky, like, sure, why not? But then you have to make sure you bake it. So if you go to the X form, go bake transform, that'll bake all the rotation data and scale data. So it's 111 again. So you go back to general here, you'll see scale data is 111, rotation is 000. So that's what we want. Okay. So now we got that. Yep, sure. We'll go ahead and come out of here. And like when you're also making models, it gets put into a generated folder that's next to the map that you're in. So typically when I'm doing this, I'll move that into a different map, or at least rename it. I'm just going to rename it for now. Flashlight. Okay, so now I need to make that fit the character's hand. So the best way of doing that is to go into your skeleton. So let's go into characters, rigs, rigs, no, nope, where is it? Ooh. Meshes, it's in there. Okay, go skeleton. Okay, and we want to put it in their hand, right? So what you can do is find the hand bone you want to put in. So let's say we're putting the right hand. So let's go down here, add a socket. There's the socket. And then we're going to add a preview to it so we can better adjust where it's going to go. So we're going to add the flashlight model we just made. There it is. So you can see the bone, by default, X will follow the arm, which you don't want. You want to rotate the socket so it is a little bit different. So do that. Obviously, the mesh is a bit too big, but whatever, we'll make do. And you just position it to where you want it to go. Now, one thing I do recommend doing is when you're positioning sockets on any actor you're doing, is to preview it with an animation that's going to be using. Because the bone is going to twist in a certain way based on animation. You want to make sure it looks good when doing that. So, for example, we'll put in the walk animation in there. Walk forward. Okay. And I usually just pan through the poses to make sure it looks okay and is fitting just fine. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So that is the flashlight socket done. So all I've got to do now is attach it to the character. So let's say I make my flashlight actor. We'll just put it in here. BP flashlight. We add the mesh that we made. And important to note, we don't rotate it or anything here because we want it to follow the socket correctly. But what we will do is add a spotlight to it. And the spotlight we're going to attach to the mesh. So if we move the mesh, the spotlight will move with it. And we'll put that there. I'm going to change the source radius a little bit to match the size of my flashlight. So source radius, like that. And we're going to go and change the length of that. And then we'll change the attenuation. And give it an inner cone as well. Something like that. There we go. Okay, so now we've got to do is add it to the character. So we're going to go to our character. And with the mesh selected, you're going to go into here and add a child actor. And the child actor, we're going to choose on the right hand side here our flashlight. And when you do that, it's going to spawn in here at the bottom, because that's 0, 0, 0. And all you're going to do here is go to parent socket, hit a little folder icon, and you're going to choose your hand socket. There you go, and it's now positioned correctly. If it does appear off, it probably means that you've added some location or rotation offset. Just make sure the location and rotation is set to 0, 0 across the board there. But there we go. We've now got oh yeah, this might happen too. So when you're moving, you see this breaking. That's because I forgot to turn collision off. Important thing to note: whenever your character's holding something, make sure the thing they're holding has no collision. So we're going to do that. There we go. Okay, and there's a little flashlight. So obviously better working when you've got an actual animation with them holding the flashlight up. But yeah, there's the basics of how to put it into their hands. And that same goes for guns, torches, anything you want to put in there. In the hands like that. Can you attach the hand to the object? So if you only have two hands hold the flashlight. So you'd probably have to do some animation, obviously, but you can IK to close the gap. I need an animation really to do it though, so I can't really do it now. But yeah, you use IK to move the left hand to where the right hand is. Same for the gun. So when you've got a gun in your hand, you put that underneath the barrel. You can put your hand underneath the barrel. So yeah, you want it's using IK. So IK, basically you get the position of the socket where you want the hand to attach as a location, and you basically send the bone of the arm in your IK to that socket and it will stick to it. Essentially that's what it is. But you want to get as close as possible with the animation if you can, as it means less work. Next question. Real-time Fat Man. There's a good chance it will do an alright job as standard. Yeah. You can do like all the most of the stuff you probably want to do anyway. So like occlusion works really well. I think I've done videos on it. If not, I've definitely done live streams on it. Occlusion works really well. Reverberations, all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Next question. So if the held object is still going to interact with the environment, i.e. sort of make sure the handle has no collision, but the blade does. Oh wait. Okay, sorry. Let me rephrase that then. You want it to have. You don't want it to have any collision with the player character. So you want to make sure the collision profile for, like, if I go back to that flashlight and go to that mesh, you want to change the. If I change back default and customize it, we want to make sure that the pawn of this is set to overlap. Yeah. So it doesn't affect the player character. You may even do like your own object response channel for player characters if you want. But yeah, you want to make it so it doesn't do that. So if you want it to still interact with the world around it, like you drop it, for example, you can leave it like this, just to make sure the pawn is set to do none. Okay. Yeah, and yeah, it'll work just fine. Yeah. Next question. I saw one that was interesting. Let's try that one. Where was it? Floodlight. How would you go about making a drop-down menu box from an enum? Okay. So let's go ahead and create a widget. Do a drop-down example. There we go. And I'm just going to put it in the canvas panel just so we can see it on the screen a lot easier. But obviously you don't have to do that bit. So it's called a combo box. Okay, so you got keys and strings. You can use either. So let's say we want to use string. Here, all right. We could probably do it with just the key one, actually. Save a step. But yeah, anyway, so you need a combo box. Okay, and now I'm going to put it in the center of the screen. Nice and clear. Yeah, and we're going to populate it. So manually populating it, you've got options over here so you can manually populate it. Yeah, but obviously you may not want to do that. So instead, on the graph here, on the pre-construct, we want to make an enum populate it. So let's first of all make an enum. Yeah. E-test. And let's just fill a few things in here. So we're going to have cat. It's annoying that tab doesn't just go to the next one down. Or enter. Please fix. Fish. Bird. Horse. Elephant. There we go, that'll do. Okay, so I only use those enums there. Right, so the combo box over here, we can open this up. And in here, I want to get the options. Now, as a reminder, for those, or if you don't know, in the designer view for widget, if you see it in a details panel, and this is true for all things, so like in blueprints, if you see it in a details panel, that's a variable you can change. And if you see it inside of like a drop down arrow, that's a struct. That's what structs look like when they're exposed to the details panel. So the thing we want here is the options array. So we're going to go to the graph and search for options, and you'll see you've got add option, clear options, get selected option, remove option, selected option, etc. Okay, so we're going to do add option. Okay, now the easiest way of doing this is using a for each based upon an enum. Now there's another thing that people don't know you can do. So we can do for each e-test, and you'll get an enum for each loop. So basically this will go through every entry in enum like that, and I can just put that in there. Done. Okay, and you can see here it's populated the enumerator in here, so e-test : enumerator . So I'm going to add that to the screen. Let me also make it so we can do actually interact with it. Hold on. Set input mode UI and set show mouse cursor. Okay, so let's not put that on here. Oh, we might need to do it as a string, not a key. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to go combo box. Here's a string. Replace. Okay. Add option. There we go. There you go. Cat, dog, fish, bird, horse, elephant. Okay, and if I add, the beauty of that is if I add more to enum, it'll auto-populate that as well. So I can just go to e-test and just add another one in here, and we'll go lizard. Another one, shark, mouse, whatever. And that requires no work from my part to make it appear now in the UI, because it's going to appear there. Okay. So it also populates it based upon the enum, and that is using the for each, and that works with enum, any enum. So you can do for each and then type in the name of the enum, and it will do a loop of the enums you have. Not many people know about this. I don't see people using it much, but yeah, you can do that. Makes life really cool and easy. Which version of Unreal am I currently in? This is the latest one, 5.5.4. This one. Question: say you wanted the functionality and editor utility because it's not possible doing construction script. Could you add a button in the blueprint itself to trigger that utility? You can do it. What you can and can't do in editor is very dependent. So basically, anything that is referencing something dynamic, so like the player controller or player character, you can't do. But if you wanted to make a function, you can expose it to the editor if you wish. So, for example, the player character over here, we could add, I don't know, a function here, print test. Let's do that, for example. And we'll do a print string. Oh. Say hello. And we just make this thing call in editor. So if I wanted to call that now, I just need a reference to the player character first. Like that. And over here on the right hand side, I should be able to find, where are you? The print test. There you go. Print test. You can click that and it'll do the thing. We won't print because we're not playing. But yeah, so it depends on what you're trying to do. Not all things you can do, like print string, for example. Another thing to note, by the way, that people don't realize you can do. So let's say I wanted this to be a function that's going to affect animation-based stuff. These categories you can actually access yourself and use them to categorize your own variables. So rather than having different locations for all your own variables, you can insert them into these other ones too. So case in point, if I go to print test here, just because you can't select it here, but if I type in animation like that, you'll see now in the animation section, it's now got the print test in there. So you can just type in the name of the category in the detail panel if you want to make it less convoluted. You can make it a bit more organized, things like that. But yeah. Next question. Flow. Oh, hey, Ryan. I'm trying to figure out how to spawn footprints when using a completely procedural walking animation using a control rig. Do you have it? I don't know. I've never tried it with a completely procedural one. So, I mean, if you've never done it with a normal animation, basically what it is a you tie it to the actual animation and put a line trace, a notify on the event. But in this case, on the actor that you're doing it, you probably could do like a line trace down from each foot, and when the foot detects the line trace is very small, it will detect that it's hit the floor and therefore place a decal on the floor. That would be what I do. I obviously don't have a procedural character to test this with, but that's where I'd start. But yeah, I wouldn't. I'll just do it straight from the blueprint itself as a workaround. Because yeah, as Iron Thumbs was saying, control rig is really annoying to get events to trigger from it. So yeah, just do it based on the blueprint. What does it mean when you're packaging and the UAT constantly fails? It should give you a message about why it's failing. So read the message and it will give you an idea of what it's failing. And if it doesn't make sense to you, then what the message is saying, copy it, chuck it into Google, and you'll probably find a forum post where other people have had this issue too. That's all I would recommend. Packages fail for all sorts of reasons. There's no way to really know exactly what is the cause for it, unless you copy that out. Let's try and get the next question. Nerdy Snail. Good name. How can I make the player be able to climb on objects like a snail? Also, how can I make it leave behind a trail? Interesting. Okay. So, first things first, you're going to have to change how your movement works in your character, for one. So, I mean, there's a few things you can do. So, one, you can change the gravity of the character, for example. Warning though, when changing gravity, like the one thing I've been trying to figure out myself is the maths that's needed to make the camera work as intended, based on the gravity change. That's something I'm trying to figure out myself. I haven't touched it for a while, so they may have changed it. But yeah, camera controls in non-Z down gravity is odd. The alternative is that you build a whole unique system to handle the cameras, like your own unique camera system and your own unique movement system. And so the movement system will basically line trace out in basically forward direction based upon your movement and determine if you hit something. And then you'll need some way of transitioning up the slope, wouldn't you? So, I mean, you could do a sphere trace. Let's try it, actually. Let's have a crack at doing a snail. So we need a pawn. Snail. We'll do a sort of facsimile of a snail. Watch my amazing art skills come to life. I'm going to duplicate that. One snail. Let's attach the shell to the body. And then, so when you're making a character, you don't want these to be probably the root of the character. You want another capsule or something handle collision as part of that. So I'm going to use a box collision. And we'll just change the size of that one. Using the box extent, not the scale. Because I'm going to be making it the root of the object now. So now I can position the snail correctly. Cool. Okay, so there's my snail. To make this thing move, though, we need to add movement inputs to it. So I'm just going to copy and paste a few things from here. Let's take add mapping context. So I want that and that. And we don't want jump, so I'm going to copy that and chuck that all into my snail. Okay, so that should all be fine now. Let's delete these things. And let's make our world use our snail. Oh, we only added a camera to it. Hold on. So we're going to have in here a spring arm. And we'll give it a wider thing. Add a camera to it. Never made a snail before, so this is kind of exciting. So I'm going to use pawn control rotation. And this thing, yeah. Oh. Well, yeah, why is it spawning over there? Snail. Default pawn class, snail. Snail. Yeah, why is that spawning my snail? Pawn? Yeah, pawn. Strange. Maybe not spawn that in. Okay, let's just drag that out then. And I'm going to tell it to auto processor. Player 0 for now. There we go. Right, it's now. Oh, I forgot to put pawn movement onto it. So we want to add pawn movement. Floating pawn movement. And yeah, the rest of that we'll leave alone. Okay. So now I make it rotate. I should have done it as just a character, really, couldn't I? Oh, it don't matter. I guess what I should do really with the box is make this squarish. So if I do 100 by 100 by 100, and then move that down there like that. Okay. I want him to rotate based upon the control rotation. Whoops, I got disconnected. Okay. Well, I guess I could do it on the move. Yeah, I can do it on the move. Okay, so I'm going to get the velocity of the character or the pawn, and I want to get direction that they're moving in. So we can calculate direction from that. Not calculate direction, sorry. Normalize it. Not bad. Normalize it. And then I want to rotate it based upon that direction. So we're going to go and set actor rotation. And we want it to smooth out as well. So we'll do that with a V-interp 2. And we'll put that in target. The current will be, actually, let's make an R-interp 2. R-interp 2. Because then we can use it straight away in there. And then in here, we're going to put that into the target. Delta time. Delta world seconds. Interp speed, we'll do 3. Why not? And current will be active rotation. Like that. Okay. So, oh yeah, I didn't add collision to the box. I need to do that, didn't I? Let's change that to be a pawn. We'll make sure that hits the walls. Yep, there we go. Right. There we go. Okay, so make him climb walls and things then. I would imagine... Actually, let's make him a bit smaller too. Let's go ahead and change the box here. Let's do it by a factor of 4. Ooh. Okay. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we didn't add gravity to it. So it's floating point movement. So to add gravity to our floating pawn movement, this thing won't have gravity on it by default because it's a pawn, not a character. So what you have to do is you have to check to see if there's floor beneath you. And if there's floor beneath you, apply a speed. If there's no floor beneath you, apply a movement input to it. So you just do line trace down by doing line trace by cut channel. Get actor location. And we go straight down. Negative, I don't know, 100. Probably less than that, really, but never mind. Yeah, visibility, draw debug, blah, 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 that. And we'll just say, and if it's the case, we're just going to add movement input. Down. And the scale value here, actually, don't want to do it scale value, do we? We could do. I don't know. Yeah, you can do add movement input, or you can just add physics to it if you want. I guess I don't know. Why is that not going down? Maybe it's too far. If it's true, sorry, false. There we go. Oh, -1. There you go. It's a bit rubbish, but it'll do. So my thinking with the climbing of the wall thing is using a sphere trace based upon which way you're going. So let's just put that in a new thing here. And what I'm actually going to do, I think, is this line trace where we're finding what the floor is I want it to be relative to the object that we're moving around in. So I'm going to go and we want to get its local direction down, don't we? Get actor transform. And I want to transform the location with inverse transform. That converts it from world space. No, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? I want to get the local direction of the thing. So I don't want that. I want to get, let's say, the cylinder. Wait, cylinder, no, because cylinder's rotated down. Oh no, there you go, cylinder. I'll use the forward direction of that cylinder. Get forward vector. There you go, use that instead. And we'll take that and multiply that by -100 and put that in there. There you go. So that's always going to go down based upon that. Anyway, so that's that bit. The bit I wanted to get to was the sphere trace. Because the way I would start approaching this is how do we make it so it can almost smoothly cut up the wall somewhat. Yeah, so it's a little bit tricky. So with the sphere trace, I want to do from get actor location. The direction we're moving in is going to be which direction we want it to go. So get velocity, and we're going to normalize that. Actually, no, we'll just get velocity as is. And then add that onto there. Radius we'll do as 30. Don't know. But for draw debug, I will put on for 1 frame. So let's just see what that coming out there. So basically, as I move, you see it coming out. And obviously, we don't need to go that far out. That's just the velocity going a bit nuts. So we'll decrease that. But basically, I want it so when I hit the wall, it's going to see what it's hitting. And you can get actually the point where it's going to return. So let's just change that a little bit. So we're going to take that, normalize it, and then multiply it by the range. In which case we'll do 30. And I'm going to bring the radius down as well, because it's hitting the floor a little bit. So we'll change it down to 15. Bring that back up. Not that one. This one. There we go. Need to go a little bit further out, but getting there. Right. Let's do 100. Oh no, not velocity. I need to get the forward vector of the actor. Yeah, actor forward vector. No. I'm going mad. I'm going mad. Float 100. You can tell I've had a week off. There we go. There we go. So that's going to hit that. Right. So the important thing with this, though, is where it hits the floor. So that little red square is basically the wall. And I just want to make it rotate so that the downward direction is going to start rotating towards that direction, if it has one. So at the end of this, we're going to put that into a branch. And we're going to say set actor rotation. This may break because we've got the other rotation going on, but we'll see. And we'll get the point of the hit. So this is where, if you ever wondered, the difference between impact point and location. Location is the location of the central point. The impact point is exactly where in that circle in the world did it hit, which is what the one we want to use here. And so I want to rotate towards that point. So, I need to get rotate it, change the pitch basically. We could also do the normal as well, but it won't be as smooth. I don't know actually. Let's actually try with the normal. Interp 2. Normal. We might have to invert it. I can't remember now if we want to invert it or not. So if I don't remember things, I just throw in a value, and if it doesn't work, then I'll try the other value. It's usually one or two options. So we'll do something like that. So it's rotating away. I think it's because... No, why would it do that? Let's try doing a negative of that. I will move on to another question in a second because obviously I can't spend all my time making this now. Okay, so kind of working, just the wrong way. So I probably want to transform it somewhat. So when I hit the wall, like that, I want to transform it by 90 degrees, don't I? So I want to get the tangent of the wall, really, don't I? So there is a thing where you can do where you can project to a vector onto a plane. The plane normal you put in here. The vector is going to be the direction that you want to go in. So get actor forward vector, and then we can use that instead. I think that'll be the right way around. Oh, no. May have to reverse it. Let's try. No. I feel like this would be right though. Project vector to plane. Because I want to take the. I want to take the plane normal is the surface. The vector, when it hits it, I need to work out the direction it's hitting based upon that surface. Yeah, so why is it not going up? I know. I'll move on to another question, but I would start looking at this if you haven't never seen project vector to plane. Basically, a vector is a direction, and basically it will say if given any plane and you put this direction on that plane, what is the direction it's going to be hitting? And so imagine like it hits the floor, it's going to skid along it. What is that projection going to be? And if the plane obviously vertical, it's going to do something else. So yeah, something like that, I think. Not entirely. So I think this might be also messing around with it too much too. Let me take that off for a second, and then I will move on to another question. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, that's just turning around like that, isn't it? It does seem to turn. It's just not turning the way I want it to turn. So maybe I need to. I know I promised I'll move on to another question, but it's just one of those things that's annoying me. That we're quite close. I think just enough value. I think I need to rotate the vector a little bit based upon if I'm going forwards. I don't know. I will move on. So you wanted to do that. So it's a little bit more tricky than just making it match the normal of the wall, because obviously the wall normal was just pointing out that way, and your character wants to turn on the wall as well. And then if you've got another problem, if you want to come off the ledge of a table like that, for example, when you go over the edge, it needs to project down to figure out what the surface is going to be. So essentially, it's going to be loads of little traces going on to work out where the floor should be. But yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, Seventh Dimension Studios, for the super chat. Much appreciated. How to do a God of War style quick time event in the sequencer. Okay, so it's gonna be tricky to do because I don't have the animations on me, but essentially, yeah. Hang on, let me just do a sequence first. So need a sequence, obviously, if you didn't realize. Give it that. And we'll just add a camera to it. And I'm going to change the camera here. Like that. Okay, so let's just change the camera to, I don't know, do that. Whatever. Okay, there's animation. and your character may be doing stuff during this element as well. So the thing we need to do is basically you have different types of quick time events. So you've got ones that pause and wait for the player to input something or slow down or something like that. The other one is if the player doesn't hit the button in time, hit the register, then it'll switch, basically fork which way it's going to go. So to fork or jump to a different animation sequence, you want to basically you can embed a level sequence with another level sequence and then make it jump to different level sequences. So for example, we've got this sequence here, okay, and I'm going to make another one. Sure, put another sequence in there, change the camera. And this one will start up here, whatever. Like that. Okay. But the thing I want to do then is branch which way I'm going to go. I'm going to go to that animation or the other animation. So we're going to need a third one, which is going to be the main one. Like this. And in here, you're going to add other level sequences to it. So if you go in here, you'll be able to go ahead and add a subsequence track. And in there, we can then add the other ones into it. So let's add that one in there. And then let's add this one into there. Okay. And I can now make it jump between different sequences based upon, you know, whatever you want to do. So let's just move that maybe over here, maybe. And we'll probably move that across to there like that. So in here, we're going to have another camera. Let's move that across. Add a camera track. Okay, and I'll keep this one static. Keep it simple. Okay, so this one's going to go across to here, and then I want it to jump between the other, one and the other. Now, at the moment, we've got this sequence track doing these two sequences, okay? And I think it will automatically jump whatever one is there, I believe. Oh, no, you can do... You can do the... You do it here, I think. So... If we go to there, we go level sequence 1. There we go. And then here we go level sequence 2. Or that one. There you go. Yeah, you won't be able to preview it because the sequence here, the camera that's been spawned in, doesn't exist until it launches the track. But let's say I want to play that main sequence straight away. I'm going to go auto play there. Oh, would help if I was that one, isn't it? Yeah. It should play. Let me rotate this camera around a bit, actually. There you go. So it's playing the other. Yeah. So it's playing the other tracks. That's what we want. But we want it to obviously skip one or the other. So let's go back to here. And I need it to basically look out for the input that's going on. So that could be an event that's going to have it all on here. So we're going to add an event track to this. Event track. Trigger. And we'll say the event is going to have the key appear here. Okay. And we're going to right click on that point. And we're going to go endpoint. Create new endpoint. And there it is. So this is the event that's going to fire. So I now want to make this UI appear that's going to do stuff. So let's go ahead and make a UI thing. QuickTime. And we'll just make it have an image on it, or text for now. Press space. Like that. And then we're going to add that to the screen. We'll just do that. There we go. We'll add that to the screen at that point. And you may want to do this on the player controller, because the player controller is going to receive the input. So if I go to the player controller, which I don't think actually I've got one set up, have I? No. So I'll make one. And we'll just make a little event here. Do a custom event, show QuickTime. And that's going to create the widget. If I spell it correctly. That'll then choose QuickTime. We can then promote to variable. QuickTime. Add to viewport. Like that. And then on we're gonna have one here called clear QuickTime. So custom event clear QuickTime. That's going to take that variable, convert the validate get. If it's valid, we're going to do remove from parent, and then we want to clear the variable up. Okay, because when we need it to click, we're going to use this variable to manage whether or not the input for space should work. So if I just search for space bar like that, and I can then use the reference here to validate check to see whether or not a QuickTime event is active. Yeah, and if you've got one that's changing what key to push, you obviously can then feed in and get like what key is being pushed and compare it to one that's on the QuickTime widget, whatever. But they do keep it simple because we're running out of time. So we hit the space bar, that's going to hit that. If it's valid, then we want to return and say, hey, QuickTime event successful. So we're going to do event dispatcher, QuickTime success, and we're going to call that. Okay. And then we're going to tell it to remove or clear the QuickTime. Okay. Yeah. Another one we're going to do another custom event for fail QuickTime. Fail QuickTime. And that's going to do another event dispatcher. QuickTime fail. Well, I guess you could use the same one really. You just put an input on it. Tick it on. And the fail QuickTime is going to use the same one. It's time to be false. And then we're going to clear the QuickTime. Okay. Something akin to that. Now, back on the sequencer, on that property, we're going to go to the event here. And I want to now get a hold of the player controller and tell it to do that QuickTime event. So on my event graph here, I'm going to add the function for onCreated. Get player controller. Cast it to, I think I've just left it as new blueprint, your own player controller. And they're going to store a reference to it. Controller. There you go. And then back on the sequence event, I take the controller out and I can do show QuickTime. Okay. When it does that, I'm going to bind to it. Bind event QuickTime success. Okay. And we're going to create an event. Create matching function or event. We'll do event QuickTime 1 result, whatever. And if it's successful, I want to make it go to another playback. If it's failed, I'll go to a different playback. So let's say I want to go to the playback here. So I'm going to get the player sequencer. Where is the sequence? No. Player, no. Sequence. Set range. Child track. Track. Delete marked frames. Find binding. Find tracks. Hang on, we're gonna find it. Set. Can I just do set playback? Is that what I'm looking for? Set playback. Start. I want to. Oh god, I can't remember now. Get sequence. Not that one. Can't remember now. Sequence director. There you go. That one. Ah. Get sequence. Set playback. Yeah, is that the one? Start sequence, and the start frame is the number of the frame you want to go to. So we'll say it's going to jump to this one, 260. Okay, so go to that. There's loads of ways of doing this, by the way. This is just a way. You could make it so it spawns and uses a different sequence at a time and just blend straight into it. Whatever you want. But yeah, so that'll do there. Hopefully that's all working. So when spacebar comes up here, I hit space. It would help if I knew which one's which. Hang on. Wait, we can figure this out. So if I go to, I think it's this one's the successful one. If I open this one up, and if I change the camera here, if I change this to be let's change this to be a different type of thing. Let's go to let's change it to orthographic view. So it looks like, well, not in wireframe, but it'll look like orthographic. If we're successful. Oh, oops, I forgot one thing. When a sequence is played, it by default will turn off input. So, at least I think it does. Hang on, double check that. Pretty certain it does. Play controller. Let's make sure that that is. Add breakpoint to there. No. It might be because my character's tied to the spacebar too. Let's change it to a different number. Let's change it to 1. No, why is it disabling? So there's a thing you can do with the sequences where you disable input, but that's already not on. That's just movement input as well, not actual input. Pretty certain inputs still come through. Let's turn off autoplay for a second. Oh, it's because I've got this bloody UI thing on the thing. That's why. Let's get rid of that. Because it's set to UI mode. That's why. Right, take that off. That's it. That'll be why. Yeah, there we go. Right. So, if I put that back on now, to autoplay. So if I hit the 1 button. No. Should go to that. Set playback position to frame 2. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, don't do that. That just changed that. I don't want that. I've done the wrong one. It's not playback start. What is it called? Set playback end. No, play. Set. This is sequence. I want to get the player though. Get player. Get. No. So you can get position. Let me try position. Get set start position. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Oh, scrub. No, not scrub. I swear it was scrub. Something like that. Audio player. Just search for the player sequencer section. Have a look what I've got in here. Sound time cursor position. Set playback position. I need to get the movie sequence player from this. That's what I'm missing. Yeah. And yeah, so you can put in like marked frame and things like that, but what we're going to do is we're going to put in the frame number. What was it, 260? Something like that. What did it? Right. There we go. It works. Huzzah. So yeah, long story short, we have to go into this. What I was missing was this bit here, the set playback position, and for that you need to get player. Again, naming conventions here suck. So that means it's the level sequence player. So this is the level sequence player. You set the playback parameters, and you can give it like a time or a marked frame if you want. So rather than a frame. So marked frames are as such. So I can go down here and do add mark. You'll see it's set to A. I can move it around if I want. So there's A there. So if I go ahead and type in A, it'll jump to the A frame of that when I hit the 1 key. Or not. Just going back to start. Why is it going back to start? Marked frame. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Position type, marked frame. There you go. That's the one. So, there we go. Yeah. So, that is how you do a QuickTime event type thing in Unreal. A way of doing it, anyway. Whenever I do it this way for a couple of reasons. The main reason I do it for, though, is it kind of keeps it all together in one spot. So I'll make generic actions and events like you saw in the player controller. So these would be probably just made functions, actually, come to think of it. But these would be just functions. But I'll have the key inputs that I could possibly be on set on an input option, and I can pass through which key is actually being pushed, and that'll compare it to whatever one's been set on the QuickTime event. So when I do the show QuickTime event, I pass through what key I want it to show here, and it'll connect it up like that. But yeah, but basically you have this generic thing, which once you've made it, you don't have to touch it anymore. Everything else then is handled by the level sequences logic inside the director blueprint. Is what this is called. And you access that by going to the little spanner or wrench icon and going to the open director blueprint. And there you go, you got it all combined into one thing. And the beauty of it being inside sub tracks like this means that if I want to edit something in that track, I've got it all inside one like single thing. So I don't have to go like moving things around. I can just go into here and edit it. And that means even if I have to make it bigger. So if I go into here and I suddenly make it bigger, like that, you'll notice here that the red bar I can't move, or the green bar. So what that is doing is because it is a child of this one. So if I was to now extend that, you can see how long it's going to be. Just change the shot length to match. So it's a lot easier to manipulate and move around without doing some crazy stuff with it. But so you could do other things too. You can make it jump around, do different level sequences if you like. I just like to keep it all into one place, so I don't have to mess about too much, and it keeps it a bit more organised. But yeah, QuickTime events. So we're going to do quick fire questions here because we're out of time. Will you ever do a C++ series? So we started a C++ thing. We are going to do more C++ things later this year. At some point, yes. Especially more Unreal related C++. It's matching the rotation of the wall, right? Yeah. Oh wait, that's what's going wrong when that's now. Oh, well, we're too late now. We're going back to it, but impact normal, not normal. I think that'd be the right one. But yeah, anyway. Asmund, hey, hope your GCD was fun. I hope you have time for a short one. I want a Resident Evil movement system. It works when I switch the camera into room 1. I'm wondering how to switch it back. So you want tank controls. So tank controls is there because it's based upon, not based upon the camera orientation, based upon the character orientation. So if you're going to a different room, you're just taking the forward vector of the character's movement rather than the world vectors. And then you rotate them based upon the DNR. You just turn them on the spot. I ain't got time to really go into it a lot here, but yeah. Next, Sven Raw Milo, is there one thing you have time for? If not, don't worry. But I was wondering if there was a way to fix my character's root motion dodge roll without having me to shrink the capsule. It leaves the capsule, which is normal for root motion, but it flies in the air due to the center of the capsule being off the ground. So I make the capsule look like a ball, basically, so it can roll normally, keeping the character grounded. It seems that trouble with making characters jump with root motion rather than making sure they don't. Yeah, usually. So your rolling animation is in the center. I'm gonna hazard a guess that you're using Mixamo, Seven Raw. Let me know. Are you using Mixamo for your rolling? You're welcome, Seventh Dimension. What's the best way to make a curved world effect like in Animal Crossing? Funny you should ask. I actually did a video. I think I done a live stream even, or I don't know, video or live stream, many years ago. I think it was in the first year of doing the channel. Just look it up on the channel. You'll find it. A rolling world. You'll see how we do it in that. Basically, you're just changing how it renders it, not actual position and stuff. Noble McNully, what's a good intermediate approach to blueprints? Understand the use case of an actor and struct, etc., but I struggle with putting it all together, like for an inventory system without a guide. Yeah, so yes, Fawn, it does work with landscape, yes. You'll see in the video do it with the landscape. So yeah, struggle with putting it all together. So it's interesting, like when people say they struggle putting it all together, what I'd like to know is what part of it is the struggling part. So where do we struggle on that spectrum of there? Because obviously you're saying that you know what actors are, structs are, blah blah blah. I think where people are falling short personally, when I've seen and spoken to people like during our one-to-one sessions, is that they understand what an actor is and all that, but what they're failing is the just straight logic of how something would work. So try to think about coding things in what we call pseudocode first. So pseudocode is not any particular language. It's just basically you speaking it out. What is the logic behind how things work? So like, for example, inventories. I've done a little video once for the Patreon members where we talk about, okay, so an inventory, what is an inventory? And that is the question you've got to first ask yourself when you're making these things. It's like, well, what is this? So inventory system is basically a list of items your character has. And how you present that is up to that question as well. And once you understand that's the question, well, and the answer to that, what is an inventory system, you can then break down the pseudocode of that. Okay, so it's a list of items. Okay, so how do I manage that list? Well, I need to be able to add to that list with an add to inventory. So what kind of things am I storing in this list? What is the data inside this list? And then you can determine whether it's suitable for a struct, whether it's suitable for a data asset, a data table. You can weigh up your options there based upon the answers to all those questions. And a lot of it does depend on your design document and what your design's needs are. As there will be occasions where you don't want to use data assets. You may want to just use straight up data table. Yeah, I don't know. But you understand which one you want to use based upon your knowledge of those items. So your knowledge of what data assets are, what actors are, all that stuff. And from that, you can determine which one would be best for your design. And if you don't know what's best for your design, welcome to R&D now for your game. So you do some research and development. So you're going to try one idea out, see how it works, try another idea, see how it works, and see which one you like best. And when you're weighing up the pros and cons of each, you're looking at how, not just how easy are they to work with, but you're also looking how dynamic they are, so how flexible and scalable they are. Because it may be easy enough to make an inventory system for 5 items, but then you start theoretically scaling it up in your head and go, well, what if it's 1,000 items? How does that complicate the system that I've made? And if it turns out to be a lot more work for you as a developer, then that's maybe not the best solution. So that's a core thing to learn about, is that scalability. And you'll see a lot of tutorial makers out there will do tutorials on how to do things, but they're not very scalable. I try to make all mine scalable. So if I show you how to make an inventory system with just an apple, you'll see me doing lots of background work because I'm trying to make it scalable, so I can make it work with thousands of items. And same for the other systems too. So when you see the quiz game in its full stuff, you'll see that a lot of that background work is there to make it scalable. And we'll see a lot of people. I see a lot of comments sometimes where people were saying things like, "It takes like 3-4 episodes to get to the juicy bit of the system that we're making." And I think that people are not realizing that those initial first few parts are all there to build a scalable system. If you don't build it scalable, then there's no point to it. Yeah. So, because I'm not going to sit there and show you how to make an entire inventory system for an RPG. So you want to think about it in that sort of mindset. But yeah, so start off with just asking yourself the question, what it is that you're trying to make, and logically plan out in your head, okay, what does that actually mean? What do I actually need it to do? And that applies to everything. So, for example, let's go for like dodge rolling. Yeah, dodge rolling. So with dodge rolling, you know that, okay, well, what is dodge rolling? Well, the dodge rolling is the character going to a roll animation and they speed up a little bit and they move out the way of stuff. Yeah, pretty standard. But then you think, okay, can they roll in multiple directions? Okay, yeah, okay, they can roll about in 4 different directions. And then you start thinking about all the list of tools in your head that you've got in your bank of knowledge. And you think, okay, what tools do I know of that could handle that sort of mentality? So that's why I do a blend space for that. Because I want to do multi-directional input and enable a 360-degree motion of roll. If I'm just doing a single roll forwards or a single roll backwards, I may not even bother with that. I may just make it simpler for myself. But in this case, in my design, I want it to go through 360 degrees. So I'm going to use a blend space for that. Okay, cool. So blend spaces, I know how they work. I want to get an animation for that. Now, in order for the animation to make sense, it probably makes sense to make use of something like root motion, because root motion, the animation of it is going to be not a static movement. It's not going to be a constant linear movement. It's going to be like a curved, so it'll go slow, fast, slow, like it will like that. So that will make sense to be a root motion animation. Okay, so now I need to get root motion animations and put those into a blend space. Cool. But then you find out your blend space doesn't work. You're like, oh, damn, why does my blend space doesn't work? And the reason why it's not working is because it's not reading the root motion. Okay, so root motion is handled by the animation blueprint. So when you look at the animation, find that you're not enabled root motion anywhere. So you need to turn on root motion from anywhere, and then it will do it. And it's all that background knowledge you build up from looking at these tutorials, like listening to what I talk about, and you're basically building a bank of tools that you know of in your head. So when you come to a new problem, like trying to make a snail climb a wall, you're now using the knowledge you've gained to see if you can piece together solutions based upon what you've got in your head. And there's been many occasions where I've made a system, and years later, I've made the same system again, but better, because I have more tools of knowledge in my head. Yeah, I've learned more. And because I've learned more, that means I have more resources to pull from in order to build solutions up. And I think that's important to realize, is that there is no one solution for a lot of these things. It's totally dependent on your design, what you know, what your limitations are, what your strengths are, all that good stuff. So basically, you're trying to build that understanding and build up those list of tools in your head, and to be able to answer those questions further. That's the kind of logic you go through. But it is over for today. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you again for the super chat there, Seventh Dimension Studios. That was a very kind of you. Thank you so much. If you haven't done so, do check out the PlayStation Store. You'll now be able to wishlist Mimic, my game Mimic, on the PS5 Store. So head over to the PS5 Store on your console, phone, web app, whatever. Search for Mimic, and you can now wishlist it. Do so. Really awesome. So thank you so much, everyone, for your questions. It's been a good time. I've enjoyed doing this. It's good fun. I don't know if we're back tomorrow. We'll see. We've got quite a lot to catch up on, basically because we missed last week because of GDC. But if you want to be part of the Mimic weekly playtest sessions, do become a Patreon member. We will be giving members in stages the keys as we grow testing. and I'm trying my hardest to get it working on a PS5 dev kit today. This week, not today. Today's almost over. Yeah, we'll get going there. Okay. But anywho, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening, day, morning, wherever you are, and I'll see you all next time. Good night, everyone. Bye.